Hello and welcome to episode 16 of the Read Between podcast, the improvised storytelling podcast where we take the internet's weirdest suggestions and turn them into weird, wacky, and crazy stories through the power of improv. I'm one of your co-hosts, Evan.
I'm your other co-host, Lynn.
And today we're back with episode 16. Episode 16, and today is going to be one of our special Read Between format episodes.
Yeah.
It's going to be a little shorter episode, but it's going to be a fun one nonetheless. Mm-hmm. So today, I had an idea as I was hanging out here over the weekend as we were getting stuff done. There's a movie that I quite enjoy, and I think would be very interesting to hear the story about.
And what's that? And
that would be the film Spider-Man, the 2002 superhero film that kicked off the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Is that with Tobey Maguire?
That was with Tobey Maguire and Willem Dafoe and James Franco and Kirsten Dunst and all of them. Okay. And I had a bit of an idea in my head, just a basic idea of a story that we could explore that would happen after the events of the first film and between the first and second movies. Okay. So just to kind of catch everybody up on what happened at the end of Spider-Man 1. So Norman Osborn revealed himself to Peter as the Green Goblin. And then he begs for forgiveness and everything like that for what he's done. But then Norman Osborn's glider goes to kill Spider-Man. He hops over it and Green Goblin dies. And when Green Goblin dies, Spider-Man takes him back to his big old penthouse estate where Harry Osborn sees his dead dad and is like, "No, Spider-Man killed my dad." Yeah. So then at his dad's funeral, Harry confesses to Peter Parker that he's going to take revenge on Spider-Man and Spider-Man's going to pay for what he did and blah, blah, blah. And Peter realizes that he needs to be responsible and, take care of everybody in his life and make sure everybody's okay. So he's going to keep being Spider-Man. And he tells Mary Jane they can only be friends. He accepts his responsibility as Spider-Man. Okay. But the one thing I wanted to explore was a little known part of the film that was very well known. Was a little part in the middle before he actually became Spider-Man, or after he became Spider-Man, where he joined a wrestling promotion.
Right, that's how Spider-Man got to be Spider-Man. Yes. He started out as a wrestler.
He was going to be called the Human Spider until Bruce Campbell called him Spider-Man. And where he had a very well-known match with Bonesaw, a.k.a. Macho Man Randy Savage, and beat him silly. But the one thing that is not really explored is what happened after the events of Spider-Man 1, which is where Peter Parker, also known as Spider-Man, started his own wrestling promotion. Oh. Yes. So today we're going to tell the story of Spider-Man 1.5, the Human Spider fights everybody.
Okay.
How do you feel about that?
Sounds good.
Sounds good? Mm-hmm. All right. Well, let's jump right into it.
All right.
So this story takes place about 6 months after the events of the end of Spider-Man 1. Peter has accepted his responsibility as Spider-Man. He's still out doing his Spider-Man things all the time. Yeah. He's out there jumping around, slinging on webs, saving cats, kissing babies, helping old people.
Yeah, especially kissing them babies.
Yes, especially.
Every baby he sees, mwah.
Mwah, Spider-Man, mwah.
Baby cat, okay, mwah. Baby dog, okay, mwah.
Every baby. But his true passion lied in the ring. After he had that first match with Bonesaw, which the only reason he won was because he was Spider-Man. Yeah. He found a true passion for professional wrestling, and with the help of Bonesaw, they started a promotion together. They started the SWA, the Spider Wrestling Alliance.
Oh, okay.
Yes, and this was not spiders actually wrestling. This was named after the Spider-Man, because Peter Parker would still wrestle in this promotion as the Spider-Man, but of course nobody knew he was actually Spider-Man. Yeah, he kept that shit costume that he wore in the initial match, because you remember he had that costume that was just like
he made it himself.
Yeah, it was like a red T-shirt with this
with socks,
airbrushed black thing, and a balaclava on his head. Yeah. That he was, I'm the Human Spider. I'm Spider-Man. Mm-hmm. So he still wrestled in this promotion and was the booker and everything like that. But Bonesaw was his right-hand man. Bonesaw had stuck around and wanted to help him out because, you always help your fellow wrestler. Even when you get beat, you gotta stand by and help him. Yeah.
And as we all know, Sawbone was the cream of the crop.
Yeah, Yes, Bonesaw.
Oh, Bonesaw. I called him Sawbone.
Sawbone. You're thinking of another podcast.
Yes, I am.
Bonesaw. Yes, Bonesaw was a pro's pro. He was
the cream of the crop.
He was the cream of the crop. He was the cream that rises to the top.
Yes.
And Bonesaw saw something in Peter Parker that he really liked. He saw something in this kid that was, that was really, really noble, After he chased that promoter down the hall that stiffed him on money, he was like, yeah, this kid knows what he wants. This kid's not going to take no for an answer. And yeah, so he was like, I'll go into business with you. So they started the Spider Wrestling Alliance, and all the wrestlers in the Spider Wrestling Alliance, they were all named after different kinds of spiders.
So there was Daddy Longlegs.
There was Daddy Longlegs.
Who had very long legs.
Yes. It was a 7'2" wrestler just named Daddy Longlegs.
And like his torso was like a foot of his body. Mm-hmm. And the rest was just legs.
Yeah.
There was the Black Widow. Mm-hmm. There was the Brown Recluse, who was basically just this dude who wanted to be left alone, but was forced in a ring. Yeah. There was the Black Mom. No, that's a snake.
That's a snake. There was a tarantula.
The tarantula. There was the thousand-legger.
Yep.
Who had 1,000 legs.
Yeah.
Straight up, just legs everywhere on his body.
Yeah.
I don't know what other spiders there are.
Yeah, I kind of ran. Maybe the Spider Wrestling Alliance. They realized shortly after that they can only have a roster of like 6 wrestlers before things kind of go bad. Which that was kind of how things started to sour between Peter and Bonesaw. Was they realized we're only running shows that are like 30 minutes long. We have 6 people. They all wrestle in one match, and then it's you and I every week. How's this gonna work if we just keep fighting each other? And Peter was like, look, I like this, but I don't need this. I've got a cushy gig as a photographer. I'm set.
I take pictures of myself and sell it. Don't tell anyone.
But see, that's a thing too. He confided in Bonesaw with the fact that he was Spider-Man because at first he thought Bonesaw was too dumb to understand the idea of him being a superhero, and that Bonesaw was just this dolt who was with big muscles and didn't really know anything. What Peter didn't know is that Bonesaw actually had a degree from Columbia, where he was wanting to go to school. Yeah. Because if you remember in Spider-Man 1, he wanted to go to Columbia and everything like that. Bonesaw had a degree from Columbia in law, and he was smart.
He was a smart man.
Yeah. He just took a different path in life. He loved wrestling, and
and it made him a decent amount of money.
Yeah, because like, nobody beat him.
Yeah, exactly.
He was like undefeated for like a year. Mm-hmm. And Peter confided in him and was like, yeah, I know you won't tell anybody, but I'm the Spider-Man. You see those pictures of the guy on the Daily Bugle? That's me. He was like, wait, really? That's you? He's like, yeah, that's me. I took the pictures of myself, and that's me flying around. He's like, oh, okay, kid, okay. And he just kind of like, he kept that in the back of his mind because he knew if anything went wrong.
Oh yeah.
That's some
hot tea.
That is some hot ass tea that you can throw in his face. So it came back to the point where it was, Bonesaw and Peter were having another argument because it was their 3rd straight month of running a show. They didn't make any money.
No one showed. People saw the shows.
They fought in front of a crowd of nobody. Mm-hmm. It was just the two of them fighting to an empty arena. Mm-hmm. And the whole time, Bonesaw was just yelling at Peter, "You're just messing all this up for me. There's nothing I can do here." And Peter's just like, "Look, man, I don't need this. I don't need you." And they're just literally beating the shit out of each other in front of nobody.
Mm-hmm. Even the wrestlers went home. Yeah, like the wrestlers that were booked that night, they're like, "We're just gonna call it quits."
And the referee for them that was supposed to be refereeing the match was just in the back of the arena, just like smoking a cigarette.
Yeah, he was done. He was just waiting for his Uber.
Yeah, exactly. So they're just literally beating the shit out of each other in the middle of the ring.
Yeah.
For no reason. Mm-hmm. And then Bonesaw pins Peter, and of course all the time it's Peter's pinning Bonesaw. Mm. So when Bonesaw pins Peter, it's like, what the fuck is going on? This is my promotion. I'm the star here. I'm the Spider-Man. You're just Bonesaw. I beat you. He's like, no, that's not gonna happen anymore, bucko. And then Bonesaw storms out. He storms back upstairs to the office because they hold this show in like a warehouse. They hold these shows in like a warehouse where there's like, it's one of those warehouses where there's like a set of stairs that leads up to this office. It's like glass office. So Bonesaw heads up there, and then Peter sneakily swings up there from the web, shoots a web from the ring to the office. He's just like, and then he gets up there before Bonesaw, of course.
Oh yeah, and Bonesaw's just cursing himself the entire time. Always using his spider abilities on me. He knows I'm a regular human being.
Yeah, exactly. So they go upstairs in the office and they just start screaming at one another. They're just like, you know what? I'm just gonna leave. I'm gonna take my name and I'm gonna go elsewhere. And you know what? You're never gonna work in this town again, buddy.
Meanwhile, Peter is just like, whatever, dude. I'm the Spider-Man. I have to work around here or everybody dies. Mm-hmm. I almost called him by his real name. And Bonesaw.
Wait, folks, his real name is Macho Man Randy Savage. Rest in peace, Macho Man Randy Savage.
So Bonesaw's like, yeah, whatever. And walks out and goes home to write the biggest exposure piece that would hit the news since forever. Mm-hmm. So he decides, now it's been like about 6-8 months since they started this gig.
Yeah, and one thing about that exposure piece, Bonesaw was writing under a pen name. And of course his pen name was very close to his real name. Which was Femur Tool.
Femur Tool.
Yeah. Bonesaw, Femur Tool. That made no sense.
Gotcha. No, it's fine. We got you. Cartilage Tool. Cartilage Blade.
Cartilage Blade. That's a really good name for a Daily Bugle writer.
Cartilage Blade.
I can imagine him going into the office as Cartilage Blade and just like in just a business suit.
Hey, how you doing, Frank?
It's actually Jonah James.
I wasn't trying to name. No.
Oh,
I was just like doing someone in the office.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. Okay. My bad. But he walks into J. Jonah James and says, "Oh, yes, I'm here to write a piece for you. I got an opinion piece. It's about why trash cans need to be at least 5 feet away from old buildings." Because again, he's a very smart man, as we've touched on,
and like we said, he knows the law.
Yeah, he knows the law.
Like he's good man.
He knows about
good trash can man.
He just it's a city ordinance. It's got to be 5 feet away. My throat is killing me, by the way, from doing that.
Then maybe you should stop.
I should stop. But it's the bit. It's committing to the bit.
All right. Well, you got another 30 minutes of it, probably. So, yes. Bonesaw, now Cartilage Blade, is in his Brooklyn apartment writing his exposure piece on Spider-Man. He's going to let the world know who Spider-Man is, and Peter Parker can't stop him. And he's just typing away.
Well, and Peter Parker has no idea, too. No. He has no idea that he's doing this.
Because Peter Parker didn't expect Bonesaw to remember that fact about him.
Yeah. And while this is all going on, Peter is just acting as happy as normal. Him and MJ, are still friends, they say.
I was going to say that they're fucking every day.
Well, they're friends with benefits is what I was getting to.
They're fucking every day.
They are. Literally, he'll wake up, he'll take a few pictures of Spider-Man or himself. He'll just fly around the city, take a few pics, go to Mary Jane's place, bone for like 2 hours, and then...
Wow, he's got a lot of stamina for a high schooler.
Hey, that's what Spidey sense. When he says his Spidey sense is tingling, it's...
It's his dick?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That gives a whole new meaning, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
I've just ruined 5 movies worth of continuity for people.
So once MJ's bored and like, you need to leave now, my vagina hurts, that's when Peter Parker calls it in and heads out for the rest of his Spidey day.
Let's work through what a Spidey day entails.
Okay, Spidey day, you need to cover the entirety of New York City in webs. Because, like, when you think about it, when he breaks off every web, where the fuck is that landing?
Yeah, exactly. Like, I can only imagine the amount of artificial web that's just all over New York City.
Right?
Because of him.
Okay, so here's the other thing that I want to just touch on very quickly. Is that, so, I always pictured the way that Peter Parker's webs were cleaned up through New York City was the way it was perceived in the commercial for the old Spider-Man game. I don't know if you remember this commercial. I do. So, like, you know which Spider-Man game I'm talking about,
the
right?
old PS1 game?
Yes.
Yeah.
So in the commercials leading up for that, you would just get like this skyline view of custodians cleaning windows and like ripping down webs. Okay. So I just like to think that like the city of New York is just like, yeah, we'll just hire a bunch of custodians and just manually clean this shit off.
I could just imagine two dudes that are on one of those cleaning things that just like hangs from the top of a building. Yeah. They're just like, this fucking Spider-Man, he's just fucking putting these webs everywhere.
It's my kid's birthday today, too.
You know, it's my kid's birthday today, too. Our kids share the same birthdays, and we're just up here cleaning off these fucking webs off this fucking building.
I just want to be with my little Patsy.
My little Joey's he's turning 7 today.
Oh, mine's turning 7, too.
Oh, what the hell? Hey,
I thought we fucked at the same time.
Did. But it's still this fucking Spider-Man just running around causing a muck everywhere. Causing trash everywhere, and we gotta clean it up all the time. It makes no fucking sense. There's no spider webs he assigns on all these buildings.
You know what we should do?
What's that?
Fucking kill Spider-Man.
We should fucking kill Spider-Man.
And that's how the Trash Brothers were born.
Yes. The little-known Marvel villains known as the Trash Brothers. And when they actually went to go kill Spider-Man, they were immediately just taken down and covered in web. Yep. They came at him with garbage cans, like aluminum garbage cans, like they were a couple of wrestlers from ECW back in the 90s. Mm-hmm. And he just literally shot them with a whole thing of web, and they got stuck on the ground. Yep. Their whole torso was covered in web, and they couldn't move. They
weren't sent to jail. They were just given community service, which was to clean the webs for the next 20 years.
Exactly.
So they were back in the position, and now they were forced to do it, or probation officers would get involved.
Yeah, and they're just like, oh, this didn't fucking work at all.
Hey, you know what we should do in 20 years?
Try to kill Spider-Man again.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Anyway, going back to Cartilage Blade. Uh-huh. He gets pretty confident about himself. Mm-hmm. He's feeling pretty good.
Yeah, he starts writing some pieces for the New Yorker, the New York Times.
And all of them are kind of leading up to the big exposure piece.
He keeps referencing in all of his works a big piece that he's working on that's going to expose a well-known, well-endeared figure in the New York City area.
Yeah, and everyone's just kind of waiting for it. His colleagues are asking for it. People on the streets are asking for it. And he just keeps telling them, not yet, you got to wait. And finally, like 6 months later, it's released. Mm-hmm. It's on the head... It's headlining on the Bugle.
The title is Webhead or Dickhead. How about both?
Yes, and it's like that classic. It's like that classic superhero scene where Peter Parker's just walking down the street.
It's like that scene in Spider-Man 3 where he's walking down the street with his black hair and his stupid new outfit, and he's just finger pointing to everybody and just like dancing.
And then he spins around and finger points to a newspaper stand, and he goes, "Oh, fuck. What's that?" And he walks over. "Dickhead? Me? Fuck." And so he looks at the author by Cartilage Blade, and he goes, "I know exactly who this was." Yeah. And he starts... Now he's got to find Cartilage Blade, whose real name is actually...
it's actually Dave Stolman. Dave Stolman.
No, Dave Stolman.
Yeah.
And now Cartilage Blade, a.k.a. Dave Stolman, is now just writing by his own name, not under a pen name anymore. And Peter Parker has a hard time finding him at first. Takes him about a week. Yeah. But finally finds him in his Brooklyn apartment. And swings in. Yeah,
this Brooklyn apartment, would it happen to be close to one Steve Burns from Blue's Clues?
Right above.
Right above, okay.
When... Never mind. That's later. That's for a different time.
That's for next week's
episode. For next week's episode. So, finally, when Spider-Man does find Dave's apartment, he breaks the window, does a little flip, lands upwards, and he's in like that hunchy, like people at home can't see me, but I'm like hunched over with my arms up.
Yeah, she looks like she's actually Spider-Man, like as he's perched.
Yes.
And the funny thing is, he actually carries around one of those like tiny speakers. He built a tiny speaker into his suit, and it's just blaring that old school like 70s Spider-Man. Does whatever a spider can. Yeah. And it's just like playing the whole time, and And Dave Stolman, aka Bonesaw, is just like, what do you think you're doing? Do you think I wouldn't? You think I didn't know you would come here? And of course, at this point, since he's not in Bonesaw character, he's not doing the voice.
Yeah,
he's just normal.
It fucked up his vocal cords as well.
Yeah, so he talks like this.
Don't do it because you're gonna lose your voice.
I'm gonna lose my voice. Yeah.
So Peter Parker walks in and he's looking at Dave. Dave, why'd you do this to me? Why? What the hell, man? I never thought you would remember that secret I told you like 10 months ago. What the fuck?
And he's like, look, there was only one way I was gonna get you to listen to me and to get you to understand where I was coming from, and it was doing this. Now I know this is gonna be tough to come back from, but if you just tell me, just tell me right now that I'm the better wrestler than you are, and that you didn't deserve to win against me, and that the only reason you won against me is because of your stupid freaking powers, then we'll be fine. Otherwise, the world's gonna know who you are.
And Peter Parker, he finds a comfy chair in the corner and sits down, crosses his legs. He's got one arm on the chair like the thinking man. He's just sitting there thinking, and he goes, "You are the better wrestler. If I had no limbs, couldn't see, and had no muscle, that's the only way you could have beaten me."
And with this, Dave stands up and is like, "You know what? Fine. Be that way. But if you really want to settle this, let's have one more match. One more match in front of everybody to show who the truly best wrestler is. And you know what? You can come in your Spider-Man costume. You can come in whatever costume you want. But I'm going to prove to you that you are not the better wrestler. I am. And that we'll show once and for all who should be the real owner of the Spider Wrestling Alliance."
And with another short pause, Spider-Man nods his head. Still that spider theme is coming out of his butt. It's just muffled now. Spider-Man. Yep. And then Spider-Man goes, "Fine. Now get out of my sight."
And then Dave leaves his own apartment.
Yeah, for the night. Sleeps on the streets.
Yeah. He sleeps outside next to the trash can.
Which is not 5 feet apart.
No, he goes outside, he starts laying next to it, and he pulls out his tape measure that he keeps in his back pocket, because when he walks around town, he measures all the distance to the trash can.
Yes, he has to, every block.
And as he lays his head down next to the trash can, you just hear the of a tape measure as it shoots towards the door, and it lands next to him. He sees 4 feet, 11 inches. He just as he falls asleep.
Next morning. Dave gets to work. He
gets to the Daily Bugle.
He goes to the Daily Bugle, goes in and goes, "I'm quitting."
He goes to J. Jonah Jameson. "Yeah, I'm quitting." He's like, "What the hell do you think you're doing? You're not quitting.
I gotta wrestle Spider-Man."
"You gotta wrestle Spider-Man that minute? You're gonna wrestle him, and you're gonna expose him as a fake, right? You're just gonna expose him as a phony."
"That's what I want to do. I want to do it in Madison Square Garden."
"Oh, that Betty, do we got connections at Madison Square Garden?" "Sir, I don't know if we do." "Oh, goddammit, get him on the phone."
And Dave walks out. He's feeling confident. He's got some stride back, right? And he goes to the gym, starts punching at the punch bags.
He takes the picture that they put in the article, which was just the high school picture of Peter Parker, and they just he puts it on the punching bag and just starts punching him. While this whole time J. Jonah Jameson is like yelling on the phone with the people who own Madison Square Garden, just like, "You're gonna get the Spider-Man in there, and Spider-Man versus Dave Stolman, like, who I think is Bonesaw. I've seen him wrestle before. It looks a lot like him."
And people at Madison Square Garden are like, hey, Spider-Man? Spider-Man's pretty popular.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. We'll sell it. We'll sell the tickets pretty high.
These are the brothers of the trash.
The Trash Brothers.
Of the Trash Brothers.
They somehow invested into Madison Square Garden and now own it, while they're still cleaning up the streets of New York.
They're the Cash Brothers.
They're the Cash Brothers. They changed their names. So they're like, "All right, fine. That's fine. We'll do it.
Fine, we'll promote it. We'll make it happen. It'll be on pay-per-view. We'll make some money.
We'll make these tickets expensive as fuck."
Since it's the early 2000s, it's $45 a piece for ringside.
So the next few weeks is just leading up to it. They're both training, doing their own thing.
Spider-Man is training by, still shooting webs all over the place.
He's saving the city.
Saving the city, kissing babies, saving old people.
Just still kissing. Mwah! Oh, look at that baby. Mwah!
Any baby is just mwah, mwah.
To the point that the babies are like, please stop.
Baby, he'll go to kiss a baby and the baby's just like, whoa. A baby will let
You're in my bubble.
You will hear a baby audibly go, whoa. So what, you ain't never heard a baby go, whoa.
No, but I want to. Continue.
Okay. So yeah, the weeks go by, and then it's fight day. It's fight day at Madison Square Garden, and it's a sold out crowd. It's a sold out crowd of about 12,000 people, all packed inside Madison Square Garden. This is a bigger show than any sort of like wrestling promotion has ever put on before. The SWA would love to have a crowd like this at any of their shows, but granted, they only have 6 wrestlers, and they're all named after spiders. But yeah, so Peter's as ready as he's going to be. He's been flying around town. He's been, slinging webs and kissing baby things. and Dave, a.k.a. Cartilage Blade, a.k.a. Bonesaw, is as yoked as ever. He's
fucking ripped.
He's fucking huge. If you thought he was huge in the middle of Spider-Man 1, he's twice as big. He's twice as big. Because the only way he knew he was going to be able to beat Spider-Man was one thing. Steroids.
I was just about to say steroids.
Steroids. Steroids are. He went on a 3-week steroid regimen and yoked himself up to the point that he could barely move.
So he steps in that ring, and he is ready.
And of course, he's got to give the famous catchphrase. And of course, at this point, he goes from Dave Stolman to Bonesaw. Bonesaw is ready.
And Spider-Man's just like, yeah, just ring the bell.
Yeah, and
Bonesaw just goes, ring, and runs after Spider-Man.
he bashes him into the corner and just starts punching him in the gut. Just bam, bam, bam.
And it's not fake punches.
No, it's not.
They are fucking real.
Yeah, he is literally he's literally punching Spider-Man in the liver. The thing with Spider-Man is that music is still playing. He just it's
a very resilient radio.
It's a very resilient radio for the early 2000s.
Yes.
And then at one point, Bonesaw was like, God damn this radio, and just starts punching the radio. And Spider-Man.
And he's just punching Spider-Man in the butt. Just punching him in the butt.
So it's a butt radio?
That's where I imagined it to be somewhere in the hip area, but he just automatically goes to the butt because...
Well, and he knew he was going to fight, so he didn't want to have anything on his hips that was going to, preclude him from doing anything. So he's just like, shove it between the cheeks.
Oh, I didn't think it was, in his butt.
Well, not in the butt, but it's, on the butt, in the top area.
I get you. So it looks like, basically, at this point, Bonesaw is just aggressively slapping... He's spanking Spider-Man for being a bad boy.
He's doing some real heavy petting. Yeah. He's doing some real heavy petting of the Spider-Boy.
So after that, Spider-Man walks away and goes, oh, my butt!
He's just walking, and then the crowd just starts booing. Boo! Your butt shouldn't hurt! And yeah, Bonesaw is just going apeshit on. He goes outside the ring, pulls out a steel chair, hits Spider-Man with a steel chair, hits him numerous times with it. Goes
back out, pulls out an actual fabric chair, and just starts whacking Spider-Man with it till it's just in pieces.
Yeah. And then he takes a lawn chair, just one of those plastic lawn chairs.
After that, it was a picnic bench.
Yep.
After that, it was
a schoolroom desk.
It was a schoolroom desk, yep.
Yeah.
And it was one of those schoolroom desks where you open up the top and there's room in the middle.
Yeah.
So he's just swinging it wildly, and there's just a lot of length to
And then he sets it down in the middle of the ring, takes Spider-Man's head, puts it inside the desk, bam, 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 bam.
All meanwhile, Bonesaw's going, "You're gonna learn today!"
So, this whole time, Spider-Man... looks like he's done. He's
done parts of his costume are falling off.
Yeah.
He's just looking rough.
Yeah. And it's sort of that thing with the Spider-Man costume where, his one eye is starting to, the eye of the mask is starting to fall off. And the mouth rips open. And, and
everyone's like, look, Spider-Man's white!
So his face is starting to show.
Yeah.
And then, he's battered, he's bruised. And then at one point, Bonesaw just lets him go, and he just starts going around the ring. Ha ha! I'm the winner! Ha ha ha! And just, postures to the crowd that I am the winner, I am the ultimate. And then at this point, Spider-Man just gets himself up. He lifts himself up. Arms are shaking, but he's up. He's on 2 feet. All of a sudden, he just reaches out, just starts shooting webs, shooting all of these webs at him. Just and Bonesaw's just getting covered in web, just covered to the point where he's like, and he's like covering his mouth so he can't breathe. And it's just by the end of it, he's covered in a web cocoon, which turns into a web cocoon because he's dead. Bonesaw is now dead.
Spider-Man swiftly went to jail for first-degree murder. When he came out probation, he had to do community service, which included cleaning up webs off of the streets because Spider-Gwen had taken over.
Ah, yes, Spider-Gwen.
Yes.
Yes, this is before they had met in the actual films, but Spider-Gwen, Gwen Stacy had seen what Spider-Man had done. She's like, that seems fun.
I want to cover the city in webs.
Yeah.
So now Peter Parker has to clean up Gwen's webs all over the city.
And then shortly after he was let go on probation because they realized they did some background into the whole Bonesaw versus Spider-Man. They realized, oh shit, Dave Stolman actually was a murderer. He actually killed a dude back when he was in Columbia.
He killed a few dudes.
He killed a few dudes. So Spider-Man, you're off the hook. And so then that leads us into Spider-Man 2 and Peter Parker's first meeting with Dr. Otto Octavius.
The end?
The end. Wow. That
boy oh boy.
Boy oh boy, for a short episode, we sure fit a lot in there.
We did. Jeez.
Yeah. So yeah, this was a quick episode this week. But to be honest, next week's episode, oh boy, you folks are in for a treat.
Yes, it is wrestling related. We will give that away now.
But
it's probably the funniest thing. I felt like I didn't say much in that episode, but it was because I was laughing all the time.
So just as a heads up, we have a special guest next week. Our special guest next week is our good friend Jeremy Ballin, who is a video producer and improv comedian who you can see with cat sweaters at the Two Show at Steel Stacks every second Friday at Steel Stacks in Bethlehem, PA. So that episode will be coming out next Monday, March 26th. Yes. So be on the lookout for that. That is a hilarious episode. If you want a little sneak preview of what we maybe talked about, go check out our Twitter page. Go check out twitter.com/readbetweencast, and you'll get a little taste of what you can expect next week. But if you really want to get a taste of what's coming next week, stay tuned to our new Instagram page, which is readbetweencast on Instagram. Yeah, we finally have an Instagram after almost 20 episodes. What we're going to be using that to kind of do some sneak preview clips of upcoming episodes. So
we'll probably be using the stories too, because in Instagram stories you can do polls. Yeah, so it got a lot of cool features that I'm really excited to test out with it.
Yeah, so make sure you go check out our Instagram page, give it a like, start following it, and make sure you look out for some more information. But next week, Jeremy Ballin. It's going to be an amazing episode. We just recorded it earlier this week. So, well, folks, you were in for a treat. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
You want to promote anything?
Yeah. So for me, coming up, if you want to check out my newest newest round of the Improv Comedy Power Hour at Steel Stacks, that'll be starting this Saturday, November 24th. March 24th.
Damn, I missed a lot of this year.
Fuck, it went by fast. No, this Saturday, March 24th at 10:30 p.m. Will be with my new team at Steel Stacks. Also, my new sketch comedy show is coming Saturday, April 7th at 10:30 p.m. at Steel Stacks, called Challengers of the Well-Known Except Nothing Dirty. You've heard me talk about that the past few weeks, but I just want to keep reiterating it so we get people to come by. And you can also follow me on Twitter at @E_Williamson93 for more hijinks and fun stuff.
Fantastic.
I think that's it for me.
For me, you know me, go on Twitter and follow me at AnnLynn, AYNNELNN. Anything I do on the internet, I post there. Yeah. Evan and I also just got done recording Nostalgia Cops.
Yes.
Which is going to be releasing the same week as this. It's just going to be Friday, March 30th.
Oh, it's next week.
I'm sorry, next week, yes. So that's going to be super fun.
Yes.
We talked about Dexter's and
Dexter's Laboratory, yes.
And how we felt about it and our little 2 cents on it, and then we picked out the next show, which I'm not going to give away here.
Yes, you got to wait for the new episode.
But you got to wait for the new episode and listen to the whole thing to figure it out.
Yes.
So go follow. You can follow Nostalgia Cops on Twitter at Nostalgia Cops. You can follow it on Facebook, Nostalgia Cops. No Instagram yet, but I'm working on it.
Yes.
Go follow us there.
Yeah.
Go hang out with me.
Yeah, and as for this show, you can find us on Twitter at readbetweencast. You can find us on Facebook, facebook.com/readbetweencast. This show is on YouTube. This show is on Stitcher. This show is on iTunes. This show is on Google Play. This show is on not Spotify yet.
Not yet.
But it's on Pinecast.
Yes.
Yes. So if you go to our Twitter page, you can pretty much find all the links to this show and where to find it. So yeah, I think that's going to do it for this week's short, condensed episode of Read Between. But make sure you come back next week for episode 17 with our good pal Jeremy Ballin, which I am sure is going to be an amazing episode that you all will love.
Yeah.
Yes. So thanks for tuning in. We will see you next week and talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.